I'm a 27-year-old guy, and about 4 years ago, I met someone who I thought was going to be my forever. Her name was Lila. She was bright, a little quirky, and had this soft way of speaking that instantly made you want to lean in and listen. She had dreams, big ones. She wanted to teach, write poetry, rescue senior dogs, all of it. I was in love with her laugh before I even knew her middle name. But life wasn't always easy for her. Lila had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder with psychotic features, schizoaffective disorder. At the time, I didn't fully understand what that meant, but I promised I would be there for her. I read every book, went to doctor's appointments, supported her through the highs, the crushing lows, and everything in between. I wasn't perfect, but I tried to be the safe place she never had. We were together for almost 3 years, lived together, talked marriage, even had our wedding date picked. Rings, guest list, honeymoon plans, it was all in motion. But things started to unravel about 6 months before our breakup. Lila had been changing medications, and it threw her entire emotional rhythm off. She became more erratic, more withdrawn, and then more secretive. At first, I chalked it up to her meds needing more time to settle. I was patient, but then she started staying late at work. She was working at this local cafe/music venue that had become the hangout spot for every wannabe rock star in our city. And one name kept popping up: Mason. Mason was new, a guitarist, loud, cocky, dressed like he just stepped out of a Hot Topic catalog that had been buried since 2009. I met him once, and I knew he wanted her. He looked at me like I was the obstacle, not her boyfriend, just some barrier in the way of what he wanted. I voiced my concerns to Lila. I told her I didn't like how often he texted her outside of work. I didn't like how he made comments about her looks in front of me. She said I was being insecure. But something wasn't right. One day, after a particularly rough episode, she disappeared. No text, no call. I found out from her mom that she had gone to Mason's place to cool off. When I confronted her, she swore nothing happened, that he was just helping her calm down, that she didn't feel safe coming home because I didn't get it. I wanted to believe her, I really did, but I found out the truth weeks later. They had slept together while she was in a full-blown manic episode. Off her meds, out of touch with reality, she later told me that she barely remembered most of the night, only that she woke up next to him and panicked. She said he got her drunk and told her I was controlling, that he understood her better. And just like that, the life I had spent years building crumbled. We broke up, I moved out. I cut ties, she quit the job, and I tried desperately to pick up the pieces. I was angry, hurt, confused, but more than anything, I hated him. Mason. He knew she was vulnerable. He knew she wasn't well, and he took advantage anyway. I didn't hear much about either of them for a while. Lila moved back in with her parents. Mason kept playing at that same dumpy venue. Life went on until this past weekend. I was walking downtown with my current girlfriend, who, by the way, is an absolute saint, and we were grabbing coffee when I saw him, Mason, at a bus stop, hunched over, scrolling on his phone. At first, I wasn't sure, but then he turned his head. He looked rough. Gone is the shoulder-length curly hair. In its place, a patchy buzz cut with a huge, unmistakable bald spot right at the back. His face was puffy, his eyes tired. He looked older, worn down, like life had chewed him up and spat him back out. I must have stared too long, because my girlfriend leaned over and whispered, "That guy? Seriously? That's the guy your ex cheated with?" I couldn't help it. I laughed, for the first time in a long time. I laughed about the whole thing. There he was, the guy who thought he could swoop in and steal someone else's life, looking like a sad, deflated version of who he used to pretend to be. And Lila? She dumped him less than 3 months after I left, said he creeped her out, that he was emotionally manipulative, that being around him made her feel small. I guess what goes around really does come around. Do I feel good that he's balding? No. Well, okay, maybe a little, but it's not about the hair. It's about the fact that I didn't have to do anything. The universe handled it. Life handed him a mirror, and now he has to live with what he sees. I'm not the same person I was when I met Lila. I've learned a lot about mental health, boundaries, and love, about how protecting someone doesn't mean losing yourself, about how heartbreak can sometimes be the beginning of real healing. I still think about her. I hope she's okay. I hope she's found stability, peace, and love. Someone who's good to her. Someone who understands her needs without taking advantage. She deserved better than Mason, and honestly, so did I. But I'm okay now. I'm happy in a relationship with someone who truly gets me. We talk, we listen, we respect each other. No secrets, no lies, just real love. So if you've ever been blindsided like I was, if you've ever watched someone throw everything away for someone who didn't care, just remember, time tells all. And sometimes you don't need revenge. Sometimes life serves the cold dish for you. Thanks for listening. And to Mason, if you're somehow out there watching this, hope that bald spot reminds you of everything you lost. Karma's not always loud, but she always shows up.
I've been sitting on this for a few days now, trying to wrap my head around what just happened to me. I'm a 21-year-old university student, and what I'm about to share isn't just a story of heartbreak. It's a full-blown public humiliation. I thought college was about self-discovery and growth, but instead I learned what betrayal tastes like, and it's bitter. Her name's Maya. She's 20, smart, charming, always knew how to light up a room. We'd been dating for nearly a year and a half, met during orientation week, bonded over late-night ramen and our shared love for horror movies. At first, it was magical. We weren't just dating, we were inseparable. People around us would joke that we were the married couple of our friend group. We even talked about moving in together after graduation. Looking back now, I feel like such an idiot. Because while I was dreaming about a future, she was busy destroying the present. It started with subtle things. She became more secretive with her phone. She used to be glued to my side during study sessions, but now she'd disappear to group meetings that never seemed to line up with her actual classes. I asked a few times what was going on, and she always had an answer. Always smiled, always kissed my cheek, like everything was normal. I should have known. The signs were all there, screaming at me. But when you love someone, your brain goes deaf to the obvious. It wasn't her told me. Nope, that would have been the decent thing to do. I was at the library prepping for finals, and a classmate, someone I barely talked to, slid into my DMs on Instagram. "Hey bro, I think you should see this. Sorry if this ruins your day." It was a video, a short clip, maybe 10 seconds long, from a party I didn't even know happened. It showed Maya, my Maya, dancing way too close with this guy named Drew, a guy I knew, a guy who had been in our friend group. His hands were all over her, and at one point, they kissed. Right there, in front of everyone. I didn't even finish the video. I couldn't. But it didn't stop there. People were sharing it. Screenshots, videos, group chats. Every time I opened my phone, there was another message, another meme, another "Yo, what happened between you and Maya?" I wasn't just cheated on. I was the punchline of the week. When I confronted her, she didn't even try to deny it. She cried a lot, told me she was ashamed, not because she hurt me, but because people found out. She said it meant nothing, and that she was drunk, and that Drew took advantage of her being in a vulnerable headspace. I didn't even yell. I just sat there, staring at someone I thought I knew. And the worst part, she said, "Can we fix this?" Like cheating publicly with a mutual friend was something a Band-Aid could solve? Let's talk about Drew for a second. This guy, he was at our apartment a dozen times. He'd call me bro, dap me up, ask about my finals, even once told me, "You and Maya are goals, man." Turns out, the whole time, he was plotting. She met up with him a few times outside our group hangouts, always with the excuse that they had mutual classwork or some stupid seminar. I didn't question it because I trusted her, trusted them both. And now, he walks around campus like nothing happened, still posting TikToks like he's some kind of alpha. The nerve. The days that followed were a blur. I couldn't focus. I skipped classes. I deleted social media. Every corner of this campus held some memory of her. The coffee shop we used to study at. The bench outside the physics building where we had our first kiss. Every place felt like a crime scene. I wasn't just heartbroken. I felt humiliated, violated, like my trust had been used as a doormat. And then came the whispers. People talk. Some were sympathetic. Others made jokes. A few even said things like, "You should have seen it coming," as if I deserved this for daring to believe in someone. Maya kept texting for a few days, paragraphs, apologies, promises that it was a mistake, and that he meant nothing, and that she was going through something emotionally. She tried to guilt-trip me too, said she missed me, that she couldn't sleep, that losing me felt like death. You know what felt like death? Watching people laugh about your relationship like it was a reality show. Getting cheated on in 4K while people you've never even spoken to send you memes about it. That's death. Eventually, I blocked her. I had to. Not for revenge, for survival. I've been going to therapy. Not just for this, for everything. For the trust issues that are now cemented into my spine. For the rage I feel when I see Drew's face on campus. For the shame I feel for still missing her sometimes. I'm learning that healing isn't about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about accepting that it did and that it changed you, but that you can still grow anyway. Maya and we're done. Forever. There's no going back. Some bridges burn themselves. So if you've ever been cheated on, especially in a way that felt public, humiliating, like the whole world watched your heart break, just know you're not alone. People suck, but not everyone does. One day, I'll meet someone who doesn't see my loyalty as a weakness to exploit. One day, I'll laugh again at all this. Maybe even thank her. But for now, I'm just surviving. If you've made it this far, thanks for listening. Buckle up, because I never imagined I'd be the main character in a story like this. But here we are. I'm a 25-year-old woman, and up until last month, I thought I had my life figured out. I had a steady job as a nurse, an apartment I shared with my boyfriend of 6 years, and a best friend who had been by my side since we were both pimply, awkward teenagers in high school. You know, the kind of best friend who's in all your childhood photos, who gets your dumbest jokes, and who knows all your secrets. Yeah, that best friend. And the boyfriend? His name was Jordan. 26, kind, thoughtful, or so I thought. He was my first real love, the person I thought I'd grow old with. We started dating in college, moved in together 3 years ago, and for a while, everything just worked. We had late-night ramen dates, Netflix marathons, and even went ring shopping just for fun last summer. We weren't engaged yet, but it felt like we were on the edge of forever. That is, until everything unraveled in a way that still doesn't feel real. Let me take you back about a month ago. It started with weird little changes. Jordan became distant, not hostile, not angry, just not there. He stopped making coffee in the morning like he always did. He stopped asking about my shifts at work. His phone was suddenly always upside down, notifications mysteriously silenced. I noticed. Of course I noticed. But I brushed it off as stress. Work had been rough for him lately. At least, that's what he told me. Then came the weekend he said he needed space. He claimed he was feeling lost, like we were drifting apart, and he needed time to think. It crushed me, but I didn't fight it. I gave him space, hoping it would help. I even stayed with my best friend Leah for a few days to give him some room. She welcomed me like always, offering wine, junk food, and reruns of old shows. And the irony? The woman I was confiding in about my relationship falling apart. Was the woman sleeping with my boyfriend behind my back? But I didn't know that yet. Fast forward about 2 weeks. Jordan and I had one of those we need to talk talks. I was nervous but hopeful. I wanted to believe that we'd come out of this stronger. Instead, he ended it, said he didn't feel that spark anymore, that I'd changed, like being a responsible adult with a career and savings account was some kind of personality flaw. He even had the audacity to say I'd become too serious and not fun anymore. Meanwhile, he was out drinking every other night like we were still in college. It hurt, but what really broke me was what came next. A week after the breakup, I got dinner with an old mutual friend, someone I hadn't seen in months. She looked uncomfortable the entire meal, like something was sitting heavy on her chest. And finally, after we paid the bill and were walking to our cars, she turned to me and said, "Look, I don't know if you've heard, but Jordan's been hooking up with Leah." At first, I laughed, like actually laughed, because it sounded insane. Leah? My Leah? The same person who helped me while I cried after the breakup? The same friend who texted me every day to check in? The one who said Jordan didn't deserve me? But then she said something that made my stomach turn. They've been seeing each other since before you guys broke up. They'd meet up after their bowling league on Thursdays. Leah would drive you home, then come back and stay with him. I felt like I was going to throw up. And it gets worse. Apparently, Leah had been giving him, let's just say, rides home from bowling. And that was their routine, every week. While I was lying in bed thinking my boyfriend was being the designated driver for his friends, he was being anything but sober or faithful. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. But most of all, I wanted answers. So I did what anyone would do in that moment. I confronted both of them. First, Leah. I walked into her place the next day, holding back every ounce of rage. Her face turned pale when she saw me. She denied it, of course. "Nothing happened," she said. "He was just going through a hard time. I was trying to support him too." Support him? Really? With what? Your lips? I didn't even say anything. I just stared at her. It was like looking at a stranger. This wasn't my friend. This was someone I'd never known. Then I texted Jordan. No pretense. Just a single message. I know. And you know what this coward did? He replied with, "Okay, yeah, we kissed." I didn't want to hurt you. Kissed? I asked again. He finally admitted everything. They'd been hooking up for over a month before he ended things. He said it just happened, like his pants fell off and Leah tripped onto him by accident. So there I was, heartbroken, homeless, and humiliated. Oh, did I mention I had moved back in with Leah while Jordan and I were taking space? Yeah, I had been sleeping in the house of the woman sleeping with my boyfriend. I packed my stuff that same night, didn't say a word, didn't even slam the door. Because people like that don't deserve the drama. They deserve silence. Thankfully, another close friend took me in. Bless her heart. But what I didn't expect was how hard it would be to stop loving someone who hurt you so deeply. I hated Jordan. I hated Leah. But I also hated myself for still missing him, even just a little. That's the thing no one tells you about betrayal. It doesn't just burn the bridges between you and them. It scorches your sense of self-worth. You start to wonder what's wrong with you. Why weren't you enough? How could the people closest to you look you in the eyes and lie? And to make things even messier, Leah is married. Yep, has been for 2 years. And no, I haven't told her husband. Not yet. Because a part of me wants to be done. To walk away. To not carry the burden of justice. But another part of me wants to send him screenshots, photos, proof. I want them to feel even a fraction of the shame they made me carry. I haven't made that decision yet. But here's what I have decided. I'm done protecting people who never protected me. I'm done making excuses for bad behavior just because the person used to be important to me. And most of all, I'm done being anyone's second choice. To anyone listening who's been through something similar, you are not weak for loving someone who hurt you. You are not foolish for trusting people who betrayed you. You are human. And that humanity, it's what sets you apart from them. Because one day, they'll look around and see a life filled with lies and broken trust. And you'll be free.